Hi, thank you for watching Digging to China. I'm Dong Shang. If you have not done so already, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.
"统一4句空话，我们被欺骗了，只是一个口号而已。
听完了，你刚才你现在是在那严重找了公共秩序，找不着？是啊。看好了，又在3、4、5。
This is a follow-up of China's responses to Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan. China has said that it is suspending all cooperation with the US on climate change, as well as halting high-level military dialogue. The Chinese Foreign Ministry said that Beijing has imposed sanctions on Ms Pelosi and her immediate family in response to her vicious and provocative visit to Taiwan. Last Friday morning, when Ms Pelosi was in Japan for the final leg of her Asia tour, China fired multiple ballistic missiles in the direction of Taiwan, 4 of which flew directly over the capital city Taipei in an unprecedented escalation. The Defense Ministry of Taiwan said that the 68 Chinese military planes and the 13 ships were taking part in missions in the Taiwan Strait. The ministry said that some of them deliberately crossed the unofficial zone of separation between China and Taiwan, which is known as the median line. The ministry criticized the action, saying that the Chinese armed forces have seriously damaged the status quo and that they harassed the waters and airspace of Taiwan. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken slammed China's military exercise, saying there was no justification for Beijing's extreme, disproportionate, and escalatory response. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida said Friday that China's military exercises aimed at Taiwan represent a grave problem that threatens regional peace and security. Taiwan's Prime Minister Su Tseng-chang told reporters Friday that he was calling on China to de-escalate and asked for Taiwan's allies to support the call for peace. National Security Council spokesman Admiral John Kirby told Reuters that Chinese Ambassador Qin Gang was called to the White House to discuss the latest spike in tensions between the US and Beijing. According to Mr. Kirby, the ambassador was told that China's reaction to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan was irresponsible and incongruent with the goals of maintaining global peace and stability. According to Mr. Kirby, the White House impressed on the ambassador that the US does not want a crisis, but will also not be deterred from free travel throughout the Pacific. Sounds very serious. But what do ordinary people in China and Taiwan think of this show of force? When China started firing ballistic missiles, people from both sides of the Taiwan Strait headed to the coast to watch. In China, spectators uploaded to social media videos of the missiles leaving smoke trails across the sky. Meanwhile, in Taiwan, people piled onto sightseeing boats and headed to a famous coral island just 10 kilometers from where some of the missiles were expected to plunge into the sea. While the scale of the military exercises may have been unprecedented, no one appeared to believe they posed any immediate danger. Why weren't people in Taiwan concerned? Zhang Jian is an associate professor of international and political studies in the University of New South Wales. He has some insight about this. He said, For the people of Taiwan, they have gone from being nervous to being used to it. It is also understood by Taiwanese people that the situation across the strait is related to the occurrence of special events. Once an event is over, the situation would become stable again. In my humble opinion, I believe Beijing's flex of military muscle. It is not a show of force aimed at international spectators, rather it aimed at domestic audience. Chinese Communist regime has painted itself into a corner by making such a fuss about Ms Pelosi's visit before it was even confirmed. The government spokesperson and almost all state media in China condemned it furiously and repeated how China would defend its one China policy with action. Infuriated Chinese nationalists were mobilized by the Chinese officials' proclamations. The fury resonated online through the writings of pundits and military bloggers. The old witch, the old American woman are some of the derogatory terms they referred to Ms Pelosi. Hu Xijing is a former editor of the Global Times and a nationalist firebrand. He even advised the Chinese jets to obstruct Pelosi's plane. And if those are still ineffective, I think it is okay too to shoot down Pelosi's plane, he wrote, to much fanfare. In Chinese society today, such nationalistic rhetoric often creates an echo chamber. For a few days, Weibo hashtags criticizing Pelosi remained some of the top trending topics. In the days that followed, a slew of defiant statements appeared in almost all official outlets. China's foreign ministry spokespeople, who have been known for their wolf warrior style in recent years, continued to talk tough, and many commenters responded well to their harsh anti-American rhetoric. The will of the people cannot be defied, and those who play with fire will perish by it, spokesperson Zhao Lijian declared, echoing the warning of his President Xi Jinping to Biden last week. His boss, Hua Chunying, also invoked the memories of Mao Zedong, who called America a paper tiger. In appearance, the reactionaries are terrifying, but in reality, they are not so powerful. The mood intensified following a warning from the People's Liberation Army. When news of Pelosi's visit was first leaked, the PLA was preparing for the celebration of its 95th founding anniversary. The military vowed that it would not sit idle by if the US politician eventually touched down in Taiwan. Then on Tuesday night, Pelosi appeared in Taipei. By then, Hu Xijing's bellicose post suggesting downing her flight had been deleted by Twitter for violating rules. Taiwan is close to the Chinese mainland and Beijing has sufficient cards at hand, Hu said. We will play them one by one confidently. The PLA is announcing a series of actions. Nationalism is a double-edged sword. Beijing was not taking the initiative and was caught by its own firebrand language and had to flex its military muscle to fulfill its words. In other words, CCP was hijacked by the public fury it fueled itself.
因为我们国家以前就宣布过，只要军机落地，军舰进港，就是武统之时。这是以前军方宣布过的，现在没做到。 我们也很失望。这种事情，作为一个14亿人口的大国，不应该食言。我们有这个实力，因为我们是纵深很大，完全可以打一架。
However, despite not being considered an immediate danger, experts warned that China might use the incident to ratchet up the pressure on Taiwan. China might also start to push military activities closer to Taiwan's airspace and waters. In the past, flying over the air defense identification zone may have only happened at certain times, but it could become the norm in the future. China can use these exercises and further escalation to attempt to redefine the Taiwan Strait as well. For example, try to close the Taiwan Strait from being seen as international waters. This is a similar playbook what Beijing had been doing in the South China Sea. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you again shortly.